Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you we're going to be doing actually a special reading today, this week, instead of the normal weekly reading. So for those of you that are here for the normal reading, come back next week. We will have one for you. For others, we are going to be doing a special twin flame reading. And okay, so the time frame is going to go now through the end of April 2018, or whenever you're guided and you hear this reading. So sometimes there may be some of you that this just pops up in your feed 6, 8, 9, 12 months from now. If it pops up or your divine team just makes it randomly play at some point, that's when you are intended to hear it. So when you hear it, energies of this message will play out about a month from when you hear it. So, and for everyone that's intended to hear it this month, it'll be now through about the end of the month. So, glad to have you here. Many thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all of your support. For those of you that have made donations, thank you. We're actually going to be using some new cards today that your donations have purchased for us. Going to be using the Osho Zen Tarot deck, the Whispers of Healing Oracle cards by Angela Hartfield, Lisa Williams Intuitive Soul Oracle cards, The Soul's Journeys by James Van Prague, Lover's Path by Chris Waldhair, Doreen Virtue's Archangel Michael cards, and then I do have my Sibila's and Lenormand's prepared and shuffled. When I did prepare, I prayed and asked that all of you receive at least one message, but this is specific for twin flames. Anyone else that wants to listen, twin souls, you may find some messages that are applicable. Any soulmates, you might find something applicable, but this is specific for twin flames. So for those of you that are twin flames, you should find the whole thing, for the most part, is resonating with a lot of messages. So let's see here. Oh, I want to thank all of you for your patience while I'm working through these final days of my retirement. I'm still not scheduling personal readings or healing sessions at this time because things with my retirement are keeping me quite busy. But thank you for all of your prayers and your support. I really appreciate it. Just a quick update so that you guys don't feel like you're in the dark. I recently had put another call out for help to some people in some high places. And it appears that they're coming to my aid. It appears that they're helping. Praise God, I finally have some help. So I'm just praying daily that they continue to take this daily action to help me and ultimately help others so that they don't go through these things. And it's remarkable folks that are assisting at this time. And that's all I can really say, but it's awesome. It's a blessing that God's finally sent some help. I know in some of these readings, we're all going through it in different ways, and many have had doubts and fears, but God's never late. God is never late. He will show up at the last minute when you have 30 seconds left, but he's never late. And so he has not come late for me, thank goodness, and it's because of all your support and prayers, and I really do appreciate that, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. That means a lot to me, so thank you. And we are nearing the end, so stay tuned. When it is complete, you will all know, and I will announce that I am taking appointments and everything at that time. Apparently Lexi wants to jump up here and join us. One second, let me pick her up. Allie is able to jump on my lap. Lexi, not so much. And now we're knocking the camera. Okay, let me make sure it's not shifted. All right, okay. Now there's more Yorkies in my seat than me. Okay, let's get started. Hopefully they'll settle down and take a nap. Okay. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be going over messages for divine masculine and then messages for divine feminine. And hang with me while I'm told how we're going to lay these out. Okay. Hopefully you are all doing well. Hopefully, those of you in the Northern Hemisphere are enjoying some springtime weather. It's funny, here in Ohio, it has been a rocky road into spring. We have been hit by snow repeatedly. The first day of spring, I was at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base here in Ohio, and I walked out to have like 6 inches of snow on my car. I thought it was a joke by Mother Nature. But the funny thing is, apparently Mother Nature loves Ohio State Buckeyes because our spring game is this Saturday coming up, and apparently it's going to be like 70 degrees. So apparently she's a Buckeye fan because she's going to finally give us some nice springtime weather just for the game. Okay, let me shift these a little bit before I lay down the last cards, and then we're going to get started. Okay, you can see those. I know you guys are wondering which pile is yours, huh? Which one's mine? Which one's mine? What? How'd that get? Okay. So ladies, I guess you're not asking for help, but we're going to cover that a little bit. Okay. So these go here, and these are going to go here. Okay. So what we have is clear. Okay. Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. We're going to work our way down. We're going to cover your current situation, what's going on in your life, what's happening, what you're focused on, what is blocking or challenging you at this time, what will be helping you this month. Masculine, what the Divine Feminine wants you to know, vice versa when we get over to that side. And then we have what the angels are recommending that you do this month. So let's start off Divine Masculine. There's a lot of reversals. Good news is, Masculine, you don't have a major arcana. I see the Divine Feminine, they do have a major arcana, but you don't, so that's good. That means you're in control. You are able to make decisions to make this transition go as smoothly and easily and quickly as possible, or you could do the opposite, cause some delays and bumps and hurdles and drag it out. But it's really up to you, because the major arcanas are things that are more destined. Divine's more in control of it. We are not in control of it, but you are in control. So that's a good thing. Now, let me see how high I need to hold these for you. There we go. Okay. Hopefully it's up there high enough you can see it. So this is Rebirth. The camera's way too high for me to see. I'm going to hold it up right so that you guys can see the graphics as we're going over it here. So what this card is, this is a 10, which interestingly, many of you are coming to a culmination, a completion of a way of being, of an area in your life. It's time to make a change, but the problem is you are not allowing this change to occur. You're being divinely guided to have a rebirth, but you're blocking it. You're not allowing it. And what this card kind of shows how we evolve. So down here at the bottom, you see this camel, and he's just moseying along. He's really dull, and he's sleepy. He's kind of delusional. Like, he thinks he's a mountain. See how it appears like there's clouds around his hump? He thinks he's a mountain. He's not a mountain. He's self-satisfied. He's depressed. He really just worries about what other people think of him. Like, see how he's proudly walking? Like, look at me. I'm a mountain, which is a delusional thought. But it's really because he just wants he wants to make people think something of him. But then he evolves and he becomes the lion. And many of you have gone through that change. You see how he's getting stepped on by the lion? Many of you went through that change. You were tired of being stepped on. You were tired of being in situations and relationships in which you were delusional, be it of your own deception, be it because of what other people were deceiving you on. And so you decided, I'm going to become the lion. I'm going to transform. I'm going to start to stand up for myself because I'm not putting up with anyone walking all over me anymore. And the lion, he just goes at it alone. He's rebellious. He's proud. He comes out roaring. But that's what you've done because you've realized you weren't happy with life. You weren't happy how things were. And you were no longer going to stand by and allow others to walk on you. You were going to stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm not going to bend to your demands any longer. I am standing up for myself because I'm a lion and I'm not putting up with this anymore. And they're congratulating you. You did that. You evolved. You went from being the camel to being the lion. But then now they're trying to evolve you into the child. Because the child is where it's at the top. Because the child is in a state of innocence. See how the child's playing their flute? The child is innocent, spontaneous. He's true to himself. He's joyful. He really, truly enjoys life. He's perfected. He's in perfect balance. He's no longer in the midst of being either rebellious and roaring and angry or being a rug that everyone walks on or being stuck in a depressed, delusional state. He's totally evolved. He's also, see how he's kind of glowing? There's this divine glow coming from above around him. He's awakened. He's illuminated. He's stepped into his wisdom. Many of you, they're trying to take you out of this stage of being the lion. They're trying to bring you into a state of being a master. They're trying to bring you into a state where you will be filled with happiness, where you will be filled with joy, where you will feel... They keep saying innocent, so a lot of you keep beating yourselves up for some reason. For things you've done, things you haven't done. A number of you feel as though you are less than. You have forgotten that you're amazing. And you've become so very critical of yourself. But they're trying to bring you into this state of stepping into your power, stepping into your wisdom, stepping into remembering that you're amazing, stepping into a state of optimism and innocence and joy and loving life. Also being in perfect balance. But why aren't trust? Why aren't you not doing it? Okay. Okay. So you're fighting it because this is reverse. 10, it's a change. They're trying to take you from one way of living to another way of living. In order to bring in the new, you have got to release the old thoughts, the old patterns, the old beliefs. There are some of you that are still in a relationship, but not many. But you have to release that to bring in the new. The interesting thing is, they're saying, most all of you, you want this new beginning. You do. Even those of you that are like in a relationship and it's final stages of maybe you haven't signed some paperwork or you're in the final, you haven't been able to close it and wrap it up because of divine timing and things at play. Or they're saying for some of you, because you're afraid to have that conversation, you're dragging your feet, you don't want that any longer. You don't want that person, you don't want that relationship. Many of you, you actually want to move forward with your twin. But you're fearful. Because what we have is, we have these two cards. We have ripeness. So when fruit on a tree is ripe and it's juicy and it's succulent and it's time, it's ready to be gobbled up. No one has to jerk it off the tree. No one has to pull it off. It just falls off the tree because it's ripe, because the time has come, because it's ready. And then you have the dream, but this is reversed. Upright. You see this person staring at this couple? So I'm going to go ahead and give a warning. So for any of you that are listening to this that have this deck, this is going to be one of those times that this has nothing to do with their meaning. So what they're saying, so for many of you throughout life, you have longed, you have wanted this divine connection. You have wanted to be with someone who is a true partner, who is your equal, someone who you can count on, someone who is faithful, someone who is loyal, someone who can be honest and can be counted on. and also is kind and compassionate. But you want this. You want this solid connection. You want this true connection, something that you can build upon. But see, in this, he's like looking at it. He's staring at it. He's thinking about it. There's a lot of daydreaming, but no action. But it's reverse. So the weird thing is, God's ready, divine's ready, angels are ready. They're trying to take you and rebirth you into this life that you've always dreamt of, this life that you've always wanted. You have your divine partner. You are a twin flame. You are one of the very few people that has truly met your other half, and you know who she is. And you want to be with her. And the time has come. The time has come. You see this little new moon? For many of you, the new moon this month is going to be a pivotal time. Because the time has come. It's time for a new beginning. It's time for a new start. Everything's ripe. Everything's ready. But you're not only not taking action, you're trying to ignore it. But the thing is, it's not something that you can ignore. Because again, upright, he's totally overwhelmed. He's thinking about it all the time, daydreaming about it all the time. It's always in your thoughts. She's always in your thoughts. You can't run from it. You've thought about the action you'd like to take, which is kind of weird because many of you want to take that action, but you're not. And you're not doing it because fearing you can't trust it, fearing that this isn't something you can actually count on, fear that you're just making this up in your head, fear that it won't work. Oh, some of you are fearing that it's just some like pie in the sky dream. Like there's no way. You know, I've been trying to have something like this my whole life. No freaking way this is going to work. You're very pessimistic. That's why. Okay. So, I was asking them, like, why? Why aren't you taking action? You want it. You desire it. It's always on your thoughts. It's always on your mind. The time has come. It does require you to close and finish this chapter behind you and move forward. But the reason you're not taking action, you don't trust. You have upright. Upright, this person's just, they are free falling. They are, and this would be Knight of Cups in traditional tarot, but this person's just, they are free falling. They have allowed themselves to open up to their emotions. They are embracing that, but it's reverse. You're not doing that. So many of you, you are not embracing, you are not opening up to your emotions. You are not allowing yourself to take a leap of faith. You are not offering, because like a knight, you know, offers this cup. He moves forward. It's a fresh, new beginning. You aren't having that fresh, new beginning because you're fearful of what's going to happen. You're fearful of the outcome. You're fearful of, okay, I've always dreamt of this. I've always wanted this. I know that she's the one I'll have it with. But, you know, I've been delusional before. I thought I was going to have that with someone else before, and it was nothing but a train wreck. And now I have her. But, you know, what if that's not what it seems? What if I take the leap of faith and I fall flat on my face on concrete? To my demise for no reason. Because I was just tricked. You're fearful. You're fearful of being deceived. You're fearful of losing everything. You're fearful of losing the thing you treasure. You treasure her. You value her. You're being guided to her. And no matter how much you have tried to ignore the connection, you can't. There's a reason for that. You're divinely meant to be together. She is your treasure. She is your other half. You can't lose your treasure. You can't. But you need to trust. When you have all these signs and synchronicities pushing you in a direction, there's a reason. And they're saying for many of you, if you look back, because there are some of you that you had this relationship that you thought was going to be the one, that was the soulmate meant to be forever. That was when you were in the state as the camel. You were delusional. You thought this was the best thing ever. And the way things have transpired, it was an ugly way that things ended. Many of you drug out for a very long time, but you're like, okay, I thought that was one, which actually that one was your false. So we do these things where we have, initially we'll meet somebody that's like, they call them the false twin, the shadow twin. They will, in the beginning, have what appears to be a lot of the same attributes as your twin. They will. But it very quickly goes south. It only stays dreamy for a very, very brief time, and then spirals downward. The reason is that is to start to prepare you, start to do your awakening, and start to get you to start doing your work to prepare for your twin who will come in, who is the dream come true. But many of you, you're just so fearful because you're like, I've been tricked. I've had that, wool pulled over my eyes before. I'm terrified of taking the leap of faith because what if it doesn't work out? But if you look back on it with that person, because for some of you, you were with that person years ago, or you met them years ago, look back at that situation. You will realize you did not have the signs and the synchronicities and the messages and the guidance and the push and propelling you toward her, toward that ex. You never had that like you do now, because that wasn't meant to last. That was meant to culminate and so you can move forward. But you're not trusting. And the other thing that's blocking you, you have guilt. You see, she's like about to rip her hair out. Many of you are overwhelmed with guilt at this time. It is one of the most destructive emotions that we can have, because what it does is it leads us into a state of a lack of self-confidence and, pick up another Yorkie, a state of self-doubt, feeling as though we are worthless. And many of you, you see how she's got like these like hands of the dead pulling at her hair? But if you would release the guilt and worries, look, you'll fall. You can free fall into a field of flowers. But it requires releasing the guilt. You're not releasing the guilt. You're punishing yourself for things that you feel are your failures. Some of you are punishing yourself for the way that you have treated others. Many of you are punishing yourselves because of how you treated your twin, how things ended with her. Some of you didn't handle it in a place of integrity. You didn't really handle it so well. And now you're beating yourself up for how you handled it. Some of you are beating yourselves up because you chose the wrong person. Or because you just chose wrongly. They're saying for some of you, you chose to busy yourself and not focus on it and start throwing yourself into work or throwing yourself into substances, things that dependency. So be it substance, be it alcohol, you were throwing yourself into these impulsive, non-fulfilling behaviors, activities. And now you realize that was the wrong choice. I screwed up. And now I want to fix it, but I don't think I can. But you need to stop beating yourself up. Because since you are beating yourself up, you're not moving forward. Because you are beating yourself up, you're fearful. That's for some of you why you're, big things, not trusting, but you're fearful of how she will react if you try to have that conversation. But we all make mistakes. That's why we come here to Earth. We come here to grow and evolve. We learn things. We make mistakes. But then we learn from those things. We let those things go. And we move forward. And we make sure we don't ever make that same mistake again. And that's all you need to do. You need to let it go. And take that leap of faith so you can fall into that field of flowers. Now, it's interesting. Because what's helping you this month, I don't know why it's reversed yet. You have, this would be the King of Rainbows, King of Coins. You see, he's like sitting on the book of life, the book of knowledge. And this is a man who, he's the whole package. He is balanced. He's balanced his feminine. He's opened his heart. See how he's bared his chest. He's also bared his belly. So he's embraced his masculine side. So when it comes to chakras, the heart chakra is essentially the dividing line. The chakras below the heart are the masculine chakras. because men are all about doing, taking action, creating stability, all those things. And above the heart chakra are the feminine chakras, the intuition, the listening with your heart, the communication. But together, the two come into perfect balance, perfect harmony. Twin flames do come into a perfect balance, and typically at a very early age. But you're not in balance. Many of you are not in balance because you haven't opened your heart to love. Many of you because you haven't emerged from this situation. You see how he's holding this lotus flower? Lotus flowers come out of murky, nasty, yucky water. Stinky, dirty, muddy water. But out of that water emerges this beautiful flower. You've been through the murkiness. You've been through the crud. You've been drugged through the mud. It's been bad. But they're trying to rise you above that. They're trying to have a rebirth for you. They're trying to birth this life that you've always desired. But you aren't opening your heart to love. You are not opening up to this. Because the book of life, that's God's wisdom. That's also things that are divinely orchestrated. Like the book of life will show, here's the big things in life that we are destined to have. You are destined for this connection. You are destined to be together. There is work that the two of you will be doing together to help humanity. Yes, you get this storybook romance, but to whom much is given, much is expected. It's not been an easy road to get here. But then you're here, you've arrived. You can take your leap of faith. It's going to be beautiful. Now there's going to be work because you're here to help humanity. But that's all written in the book of life. This is something that you're destined for. You are destined for this greatness. You have this plan. But you are not opening up to that plan. You're not opening up to love. You're not allowing the two sides to balance. This card can also be about breaking through the stereotypes of, masculine men are this way and women are this way. A number of you have been, because twin flames do come in with total balance. Now, do we teeter to one side and the other side throughout life as we have experiences? Yes. But we come in with both. Like, look at me. I'm a female, definitely very feminine. It's funny, yesterday I was in Cincinnati, I went to give someone my ID and they saw that I was in the Air Force and they cocked their head kind of like a confused dog. I do not look like anyone that would be in the military. But I'm able to balance my masculine energies because to have made it to the rank that I'm in, I have to have those masculine energies balanced. If I'm all feminine and flowery and loving, I would have been chewed up and spit out a long time ago. It's a male environment. But I grew up with brothers, and I've been in for 21 years, and I am a twin who has her energies balanced. My masculine energy is there just as much as my feminine energy. And it's been there since an early age. That has been the case for a number of you masculine, because what they're saying is, you have tried to close off your emotions, and you've tried to do this for most of your life because this is, again, breaking through those stereotypes. And unfortunately, one of the things that collectively divine masculine are doing, you are helping break that stereotype to help all of humanity come into a balance, to know that it's okay to show your emotions. Because the funny thing is, people that don't show their emotions, that keep bottled up, you'll likely find that they have a lot of health issues, because health issues, disease comes from dis-ease. So if we can't feel it, we can't feel those emotions, we can't feel that trauma, we cannot heal it, and it will manifest as some disease in our bodies. So you've not known what a beautiful gift it was for you to be open to those emotions, and then you've grown up in society, and for some of you, you have been belittled by lovers or parents for having emotions, for showing your emotions. So for some of you, people, be it, I get for many of you, it's like parents or lovers, past lovers, that have belittled you because, you're acting like a girl. Why are you crying? Why are you showing emotion? You should show emotion. Everyone should show emotion. You didn't realize that it was a gift. You didn't realize that's actually how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be a balance, a perfect balance. You are a perfect balance. You've tried to fight that, though, for a very long time, which is why you're not in balance. And for most of you, this is about, you haven't opened your heart to love. Because of sorrow. Okay. So because you don't want to feel your emotions, because you have been through a lot, because to deal with those things would mean digging deep. This is like sorrow. But what do monks do? They spend a lot of time meditating. They spend a lot of time going inward. This is about going deep, digging deep, without blaming ourselves, without pitying ourselves, without... Many of you just really patronize. You really beat yourselves up. But this is going deep and not doing any of that. Going deep so that you can find what's the core cause of your pain. What's the core cause of your sorrow? So that you can release it. And when you release it, so this month, if you can dig deep and do the work, you will become this king who's in full balance. And look how magical that life is. He's just flying along on the divine plan. He's laid back. He's relaxed. He has everything that he could ever need and imagine. And you'll be him if you can take the time to dig deep and release the pain and the sorrows and such from the past. You will have success. You'll be on top of the world. If you see here, he's riding in on this lion on top of the world. It's a celebration. You will be able to celebrate. You will be able to finally shift your life. And you've wanted that. But you're in charge. It's time for you to step up and do, because they're saying it's not that difficult. Some of you may need some help from a shaman, an energy medicine practitioner, someone who does past life regression. But it's not like it's going to take you 30 visits to go see someone. And they're saying some of you don't even need that. Now, there are a number of you who do, but it's only going to be like 1 or 2 appointments. They'll guide you who you need to go to. And others of you, you don't even need that because they've already given you all the information and things. You just haven't, okay, they're saying you just have not allowed yourself to be alone to release those emotions, to feel those emotions, because instead you've been doing other things and activities to keep yourself occupied. Because this is not going to be fun. When we're facing pain and hurt and sorrows, it brings up tears. It's not easy, but the positive thing is when we can have a good cry, we can be like, okay, that really sucked. That really hurt. But you know what? I've released it now. Now I'm ready to celebrate. Now I'm ready for my new beginning. The time has come. Everything's ripe. Everything's ready for this to all fall into place. I've done my stuff. Now it's time to celebrate and move forward. On top of the world, move forward. Now, what the Divine Feminine wants you to know is you have these 2 cards. So the first one, this is a Major Arcana, which interestingly, this would be the Fool in traditional tarot, and I think it's going to be close enough that you guys can see it when I put it down. But this is Innocence. And this is about a song that was actually composed by Mozart right before he passed away, called The Magic Flute. And you see here, he's playing this flute. Hopefully you can see that. But he's playing this flute. And he's blindfolded. But the Magic Flute, it's about this princess named Pamina and this prince named Tamino. And they learned to trust their hearts, to follow their hearts, follow where they're being guided by their heart. Not their heads, not logically, They innocently followed their hearts, even with lacking experience. Because you see, he's blindfolded. There's all these flames behind them. This is about you and your twin flame leaving. See all these waves? And it's almost kind of like they're behind a prison. It's about the two of you opening up and trusting, and especially you trusting her to lead you out of this prison that you've been stuck in. Because she is the path to success. She is the path to your happiness. You know that. But some of you, it terrifies the shit out of you. But there's nothing to fear. I mean, look at this environment that you're stuck in. Who wants to be that? Who wants to be there where you're having flames lick your fanny, you have waves crashing and knocking you down, you have no clarity, you have people lying to you, people being dishonest, people using you, people walking all over you. She wants to help you be free of that. This is about starting a new journey. It's about innocence and being open to possibilities, being open to new beginnings. It's also about, you are protected. You're completely protected. These difficulties, these hardships, these challenges that you've had in the past, these deceiving relationships, these things, it's over. This is also about facing your fears. Trusting your heart. Your heart is calling you in her direction. Your heart is calling you to leave the past behind. Your heart is calling you to completely change, completely morph. It's not that hard. You're almost there. The problem is many of you have been ignoring that. You've been ignoring your intuition. You've been ignoring that call. You have not been trusting her. You've not been trusting your intuition. You've been very cynical, and you have been filled with a lot of pessimism. Because you've got this card, past life relationship, at the bottom. It says you've known each other before. Ever since you met her, you felt this connection. You felt as though you knew her. There was this instant attraction and this instant comfort. And many of you had opened up and you've allowed yourself to open up, and you've even shared things with her that it kind of threw you off. Like, why am I being so intimate, truly intimate and open with her? And I've never been that way with anyone else. And it kind of, because for most of you, you have tried for so long to hide your emotions, to not share your emotions. Many of you still haven't shared your true emotions with her, but you've worked so hard in your life to keep those things bottled up. Even though in the outside world, it appears like you have them, and you do have the emotions, you just hide them. You don't even want to acknowledge them yourself. And she has stirred up a whole lot of emotion and feels in you that for many of you freaked you out. But you had that emotion. You had that instant attraction. You had that instant feeling of connection and comfort. Like, man, I feel like I'm home. I feel like I'm meant to be. I don't know why, but I have no idea. I don't really know this woman. But she feels like my treasure. She feels like my home. But then throughout the process, you've questioned the whole thing. But why do you think you're drawn to her like a magnet? Because you've shared many lives together. And she is your other half. She wants you to know that. She wants you to remember that. Maybe for some of you, this help you're going to be getting from someone else, maybe they will do a past life. I mean, there's a number of shamans who will do past life regressions, and then you'll get confirmation that, yes, you've shared multiple past lives with her. She's your other half. She is your destiny. She is not going to hurt you. She's actually going to lead you out of this hell that you've been in. She wants you to know that. You can trust her. You can open your heart to her. You can be the fool. You can take the leap of faith with her. There's nothing to fear. Now, as far as what the angels are recommending you do, you have hydrate. So, our bodies, they're more than 70% water. So for a number of you, you are going through we've got this energy. Energy is intensifying at this time. I'm not going to go into the details. There's what a lot of people term as the event, not really what a lot of people think that it is. it is going to be multiple increasing energy shifts. But anyhow, for those of you, because you're not just your whole life's elevating to something better, you're going to that next level in every area of your life, including your body. Some of you are having essentially ascension symptoms. You're not feeling so well. You're feeling flu-like symptoms. You're tired. What will help with this process is start to drink more water. You're not drinking enough water. So for our bodies, because water is conductor for electricity. Essentially, this is electricity. It's energy. To help that flow through your body better, you need to start drinking more water. For some of you, the thing that you did to escape this was drinking. Some of you are closet drinkers. They're recommending you put down the alcohol and pick up some water. That's going to help your body physically, because for many of you, you're really not feeling well. Because this ascension, and in all areas, when we're going through ascension process, like our bodies don't handle, any toxicity. Toxic people, that's why you've cut them out of your life, because you're at a different level. It doesn't make them bad. You're just at a different level. That person that used to be your friend, and then you start going through this ascension, you're like, you know what, I don't want to just go to the bars and get drunk and pick up chicks and go have one night stands and laugh and joke cruelly toward other people or do these things. That doesn't interest me. Doesn't make that person bad. That's something toxic that you don't resonate with any longer. Same thing in all other areas. Maybe you work for a company, and maybe that company, their ethics in the past didn't bother you, but now maybe you're like, I can't work here anymore. We're not doing this for the right reason. We're not doing this to help people. We're doing this out of a state of greed. It doesn't resonate with who I am anymore. You want to change companies now because you have risen, you have elevated. You're into this state. You're no longer the camel. That's also happening with your body. So, your body used to be able to handle alcohol, substances. You used to be able to handle sugars and carbs and processed food. And a lot of the processed food and all that has a bunch of chemicals in it. Your body can't handle those chemicals any longer. Which is why for many of you, changing your diet, having more fruits and vegetables will help you process this energy better. And they're saying a number of you, a key thing at this time is you need to drink more water. It's going to help you. It's going to help you with this ascension process, and it's going to relieve you of these physical things that you're experiencing. For a lot of you, it's like flu-like, upset stomachs. A number of you are getting headaches. They're saying muscle cramps, back cramps, especially in your lower back. But that's going to help. A number of others, you see how she's like dipping her hand? She's like touching the water. So for some of you, you need to start doing Epsom salt baths. And I know this is coming in touch with your feminine side, because some of you are like, I'm not a girl. I'm not going to light some candle and soak in the tub. You don't have to light a candle. Just soak in the tub. Fill the tub with Epsom salt and soak for 20 minutes. Because what that does, it's going to help you sleep like a baby. It's magnesium sulfate. Most people in the U.S. are deficient in magnesium, so you need that anyhow. And it's going to help you sleep like a baby. But what it does is it releases physical toxins from your body. It releases emotional toxins. So you might have a good cry, because whatever this junk is that you need to let go of, that's what's keeping you from having your celebration. That's what's keeping you from moving forward. So soak in the tub. Maybe you'll have a meltdown, and that's good, because you're going to have to allow that to just go so you can press forward. But for many others, it's going to get the toxins out. You've got a lot of toxins in your body. Toxins also get stuck when we are not hydrated. Your liver can't process it. Your kidneys have difficulty. Drink more water. Do Epsom salt soaks. And for others of you, if you can go near a body of water, it's going to help with your intuition. Because even though your intuition is turned up pretty high right now, you still are not really trusting it. Next card recommendations, you have rain at the bottom. It says, cleansing, refreshing, rainbow, freedom. See how the sky's over here? It's all cloudy and storming over here. The storm has stopped. There's this rainbow. There's a pot of gold over there. Beautiful, clear skies. They're trying to get you from the stormy weather into something new. To do that, the heavens have to rain down on you. God has to rain down on you and wash away all the sorrow, all the pain, all the stuff from the past. Also has to wash away all the resistance that you have had to making this change. You've resisted moving forward, but you're being washed of all that. Allow this change to happen. Allow all the resistance to just go away. God and angels are trying to get rid of it. Allow them to cleanse you, clear you, release all this stuff that's been holding you back so that you can move forward into this new life that is going to be joyful. You're going to have sunny skies. You're going to have rainbows and pots of gold and true happiness. They're saying not hollow. Not hollow. So for some of you, they're saying like you have been in relationships that haven't been happy. You've acted like they were, like this camel. You've acted like, oh, this is great, this is perfect, this is a dream come true, I'm oh so happy. And you've been giving that image, but they're not happy, they're hollow, they're unfulfilling. They're trying to get you to something that will bring you true happiness. They're trying to get you into a connection that you desire, that will fulfill your dreams, that will make you happy. And it's also because it's destined such a big deal, that's why other areas in your life have not been doing so well. Because for many of you, you're holding on to friends. You're holding on to things that just don't serve you any longer. They're trying to wash all that away so they can bring you into something amazing. They're saying more than what you could imagine. And you have pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. Some of you, they're encouraging you to be proud of how far you've come. Stop beating yourselves up. You've done a lot. You really have. And you're just going to take that to the next level. But you've done a lot. You are magnificent. You have made a difference. And you've also, because a lot of you are beating yourself up for past mistakes and things you've done and haven't done. And you need to be proud of who you are. You need to be proud of what you've done. You need to be proud of your accomplishments because you have done a lot. Don't allow past people, past mistakes, past false negative thinking to keep you stuck. And then for some of you, they're saying that you will need to, this month, release your pride when it comes to your divine feminine. Because for some of you, how things ended, this guilt, all these if you're fearful how that will turn out if you try to have a conversation with her because of things you did or did not do, which is what ended it ultimately. I mean, it's not over. The two of you are always connected no matter what. I mean, even if the two of you were to go marry other people 20 years down the road, you are still going to have a connection that can't be denied. You are still going to have telepathic communications. You are still going to feel her. This doesn't go away. But you're fearful of having that conversation, and many of you, they're saying like it's a pride, like you don't want to have the conversation and admit, hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I chose the wrong person. I screwed up. I didn't trust you. I didn't believe this. I chose this other person. I chose this other path. You know, I'm sorry. I was wrong. But I now see that, and I'm going to make it right. You have to swallow your pride to have that conversation. It's never easy when we have to tell someone, okay, I screwed up real bad. I mean, Texas bad. Texas big. But you know what? I know that I did now. And I'm going to fix it. Because that's what's going to make the difference. We all screw up. She screws up all the time. You screw up all the time. We all screw up. But we learn from that. We grow from that. We evolve from that. There's saying a number of you, you have got to not be so prideful. They're saying so damn prideful that you can't have a conversation with a person who is indeed your other half. She already knows how you feel. She already feels your emotions. She already knows those things. Let your pride go. She is the one person you can have that conversation with. And you won't, they're saying you won't be belittled. You won't be treated the way you have in the past. If you were to have this conversation with anyone else, as you've experienced in the past, it would not turn out well at all. which is why many of you are terrified of having it. But it's not going to turn out that way with her. You have to release your pride. You have to have that conversation with her. Because by honestly, openly sharing your feelings, sharing that, hey, I'm sorry, I messed up, I went in the wrong direction. But then sharing that magical thing of, hey, now I know. And I'm going to make it up. And I'm going to make things right. Will make all the difference. But you have to release your pride. And a number of you, you're very stubborn, they're saying. You have to release your stubborn pride. You're stuck in hell right now. Allow her to help pull you out of that. But to do that, you have to trust she's going to pull you out of this hell of misery you're in. For her to do that, you are going to have to release your pride and have a conversation with her. And have confidence that's going to work out. So at the bottom there's a prayer. It says, Archangel Michael, please lend me your courage and fortitude. Help me realize that I am one with all that is divine, wisdom, strength, love, creativity, abundance, and health. Allow me to feel confident and peaceful about myself in all ways. You have everything it takes. You have everything that you need. You are the whole package. You're the whole enchilada. You need to know that. You need to remember that. You need to trust that. You're everything that she desires, just as she's everything you desire. But you need to have confidence in that. And you have to have confidence in your intuition, because you've been intuitively guided to take this new path, take this new direction, to contact her, to have the conversation, to let this junk from the past go, let these other people go. But you have not been listening to your intuition. You have to trust your intuition. You have to have confidence that it's right, and you have to take action on that. You also have to trust her. And for some of you, you have to trust that they are going to take care of your finances. Because they're saying for some of you, I'll make sure this is still recording. Okay. So for some of you, you have some serious concerns about finances. Could be because you went through a divorce. You had to split half your assets. Or maybe you lost half your assets. But, and some of you are just like super worried and freaked out about, being able to provide. But you don't have to worry about anything financially. They're saying trust that your finances will be taken care of. This is a king of coins. This man has no money worries whatsoever. All you need to flip upright and become that king of coins of abundance is release this past, release this pain. You don't have anything to worry about financially. You're good. They're saying you're beyond good. You just don't know it yet. You're being tested on your faith. They're not going to give you 100%. Oh, here's the proof that it's going to work out. She's going to call you and she's going to tell you, here's how it's going to work out. And I'm so excited. And you're going to have 100% physical proof that this is going to be great. No, you're not going to get that. Your faith is being tested right now. But if you can have faith and you can trust and you can take this leap of faith that God and the angels are divinely leading you into taking, everything you've ever desired is going to come your way, and you will be walking on top of the world. But you're being tested. Do you trust God? Do you have faith that you are taken care of? Because with this divine love comes everything that you desire. Many of you, you've had issues at work, you've had issues with friends. But this is when things shift and change. And they're saying it's like not some wee fairy tale out there thing, because you've had one delay and one hiccup after another. Some of you tried to start a new relationship with someone else. That's that hollow relationship. Everything you try to get to this state fails. Because they're leading you in one direction that is guaranteed success. But you have to trust that. This is the divine love you're being guided to. You can trust her. Eternal love. At the bottom, there's a prayer. It says, help me perceive all of the love that surrounds me so I can feel safe receiving, expressing, and giving love. They need you to open your heart. They need you to trust her. They need you to communicate with her. She is your other half. She will never hurt you. This is a love you can count on. This is like nothing you've ever had in the past. They're encouraging you this month to finally allow it in. So hopefully that helps, gents. Okay. We're going to move your stuff over real quick. And ladies, let's go ahead. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started with your stuff. So let's move these. Okay. So you have existence. Let me flip this up right so you can see the graphics. This is a major arcana. So the situation that you're going through right now, you don't really have control over. You see how she's sitting on this lotus leaf and she's just staring out at the sky? She knows that everything's connected. We're all connected. We are supported. Many of you are going through a situation right now where you do not feel supported. You feel as though you are having to fight for yourself, protect yourself, and you're having to do it all on your own. This is a situation that's not dealing with your twin flame. So this is, for many of you, some legal situation, some work situation, something that you are involved in that is not your twin, they're saying. Many of you don't even feel like, because she's looking up at the sky. Many of you are feeling like, okay, God, Jesus, angels, I don't even think you're there to help me anymore. I've been praying, I've been pleading, and I am not getting any help. You've left me on my own. You feel like God's not helping you. The angels aren't helping you. You feel like, some of you feel like people are out to get you. No one is assisting you. Traditional Tarot, this would be the Magician. Just as the Divine Masculine is having their faith tested, now their faith is tested with regards to you. You are having your faith tested with this situation. To be courageous, even though things aren't apparent yet, you do have a lot of help. You just don't know that. And to shift your thoughts to something of trusting, of believing, of knowing that you have help. Yep. So you're getting a lot of guidance. So kind of like the masculine. It's interesting because the masculine keeps getting all this guidance to come and contact you and talk to you and be done with the past and the people and the things so he can move forward with you. And he's not trusting. You are being guided to trust with regards to this situation. Everything's going to work out okay. It's going to work out in your favor. You have help, but you're not trusting it. This is guidance, and this is all about getting divine guidance, listening to it, trusting it, and just going with it. Even though we can't physically see anything. You see, she's being drugged through the clouds by this angel. Her feet are not on the physical ground. She's in the clouds. So this guidance, this information that you're getting, you are like in the clouds all the time. You're getting a ton of spiritual information. You're getting a ton of spiritual guidance. Let me do this here for the guys. But you can't physically see it. See how she's kind of like looking down? You're like, okay, I know you're telling me how it's going to work out. I know you're telling me to take these actions. I've taken these actions, but I'm still not seeing any physical proof of this ending. I've still not seen any physical proof of this being over. I don't have any physical proof to go off of. But this is just trust. Keep holding on. You don't want to fall. You don't want to swan dive down to the earth and face plant. Just keep holding on and trusting. That's all you need to do. Just trust. And continue to move forward even though things appear to be very bleak right now. This is another major arcana. You have courage. And you see this little flower, you see all these rocks. But this flower has managed to work its way all the way to the top and grow. And look at this glow around it. It's thriving. It made a baby bloom. This wildflower, though, it had a lot of challenges. It was difficult getting water down there. It was difficult maneuvering its way through those rocks. You've had a lot of challenges. You've had a lot of difficulties to overcome. It has not been easy. But just as this flower was able to weave its way through in order to grow and blossom and flourish, you're going to do the same. You're just going through something very difficult right now. It's a very difficult situation, but you can't allow it to make you bitter. You can't allow it to cause you to wither up and die and give up. You can't allow it to make you bitter and angry and resentful. You are going to overcome this. You are. You are rising from the darkness. You are rising from the doubt. You are rising from the... They're saying like from the pit of not understanding what this was all for. Why have you had to go through this? You've had a lot of doubt, a lot of confusion, a lot of worry. But you're rising through that. You're trusting. Because as this flower is rising, it got up to this level and it's like, oh, no sunlight. Okay, I'm going to go around this. Oh, still no sunlight. Damn. Okay. Oh, still no sunlight. Finally sunlight. Finally. You're here. Within the next month, for many of you, you will be here. They're saying within the next month, most, by May, you will have reached the end. It will be over. But you have to be courageous. You have got to keep going. They're saying April showers bring May flowers. This will be over within the next month for most of you. No later than the end of May. But in order to get there, you have got to trust. You can't see it. You can't see the outcome. It's, for many of you, going to turn out better than you imagined. See, there's not one flower, there's two. But just as he is having to have complete blind faith that you are not going to hurt him like so many others have done in the past, just as he has to have complete faith that, okay, I'm going to bear everything of me with this woman with complete trust. Because it's very difficult for him to do that. He doesn't open up. But when he does open up and he lets you in, he's going to let you all the way in, and it's going to be real fast. For him to do that takes a lot. His faith is being tested. Your faith is being tested in a different way. Because again, they're saying it's a different situation. Now for some of, okay, for all of you, you have had to have your faith tested, because I know you're like, Nicole, you've been telling me in the past I need to let go. It's not giving up on him. It is letting go of control and wondering when and how, and we're not going to waste time and go into all the energetics and dynamics as to how that works. But for those of you that are my clients that are out there, or anyone that's listening that has listened and trusted the guidance, who have now come into union and can share that with everyone, that, hey, trust the angels when they're given information. Nicole shares that. They don't do that to put us through things that hurt us. They do that to bring us to our destiny. It's not easy getting to our destiny. And a lot of times we have to do things that we're like, why? But we just have to trust and have faith and do it. Your faith is being tested. It's a very difficult thing that you're going through. So many of you are going, again, it's like, for a lot of you, it's a legal battle. And it's been going on for a very long time. You're almost done. Have faith. You can't see it yet, but you're almost there. Again, by the end of May, for most of you, it'll all be over. Now, what's blocking you is receptivity. Now, upright, I'll hold this up, hopefully you see this feminine figure. She doesn't have a head. The head like cuts off at this lotus flower. But this would be the Queen of Water, Queen of Cups. This is all about the feminine. She's just open. She's open to receiving. You know, she's not spinning in her head. She's not spinning in her thoughts. She's not spinning in her mind. She's just totally trusting. Totally trusting. Totally open to receiving. And as her cup fills, she just dumps it out so that she can receive more. She's in a state of gratitude. And because she's in a state of gratitude and she does not have any expectations, she just keeps getting showered with more and more blessings. She's also open to her intuition. Very optimistic, has faith. By having that optimism and faith and staying in a state of gratitude and trusting intuition, all obstacles fade away. But you're blocked because you're not doing that. Many of you, your thoughts, your head is spinning. You're like, okay, well, maybe I haven't done enough. Maybe I need to do this. Maybe I need to try this. Maybe I need to try that. You've done everything you need to do. You just need to be patient at this point. You just have to have patience. And you have to have faith. There are things that they are taking care of, God and the angels are taking care of, that you just need to trust and let them take care of it. And many of you, because your thoughts and you're spinning so much, that you are having difficulty listening to your intuition. So for many of you, now that you're at this state that and it has been a lot of work, but for most of you, you've completed your work. Now it's just waiting for everything to bloom. But you're afraid it's not going to bloom. And then you're worried. And then you're doubtful. And then you're throwing all these things out in the universe of, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think this is going to end. I don't think it's going to work in my favor. Oh my gosh, this is so horrible. And that's causing some delays. And it's causing you unnecessary worry, they're saying. Because for most of you, this is divinely orchestrated. So again, God and the angels are going to take care of it. You're going to be holding on. You're going to be drugged behind. So why not, when the angel is dragging you along? Because they've got it. At this point, they've got it. Let them bring this touchdown in. You don't have to worry about anything else. Smooth sailing for you here on out. But to make it smooth sailing, you just need to be open. Be ready to receive the blessings. Be open and receive their guidance. Clear your head. Be thankful for all the blessings that you have, because when you're thankful for blessings you have, it's funny how you'll just get more. You'll get more blessings and more things to be thankful for. And being in a state of gratitude shifts you. Many of you need to shift into a state of optimism, of knowing that this is going to end soon. This will be over soon, that this is going to end in your favor. You must have faith. If you have faith and you have optimism, and you listen to your intuition, and you have some patience, you're very quickly going to clear that last rock, and it'll be over. Now I know why they had me flip that over. Okay. So when I was shifting the cards over, they told me to pull this card out for the guys and put it on top. That's because this is the Queen of Rainbows. The Queen of Coins, he is the King of Rainbow, King of Coins. This is what's helping you this month. Interestingly, you are both upside down. Upright. She's very sexual. She's vibrant. She's filled with life and joy and optimism. She's always coming from a place of love. She's just throwing seeds out. She doesn't care if they hit rocks. She doesn't care if they hit grass. She's not worried about it. She's just planting seeds all over. And what takes root will take root. Because she's just stuck in a place of, she's in the flow. When you're in the flow, you'll notice when you're in the flow of just optimism and faith and trust, and you're at that high vibration, life is just easy. It's smooth sailing. You don't have to worry about anything. And blessings happen and miracles every day. You don't have to worry about it. You see how she's got all these flowers and things just falling down on her, this abundance just falling out of heaven on her? You'll be there within the next month. But you're not there right now. What will help you this month is to know you are the Queen of Rainbows. You have a lot of blessings that are about to come in. This situation is about to end. Like they've said multiple times, for most of you, it will be done within the next month. No more than the end of May. And you're going to have all these blessings pouring on you. Kind of like the rain is pouring on his head to wash him and prepare him to move forward. You have all these blessings pouring down on you. This is going to work out positively. You are going to finally be free of this situation. You're going to finally be free to move forward in your life. But you need to know that. Because for many of you, the big thing is your lack of faith, your lack of trust, and your lack of optimism. So I was asking, like, why? I was asking them, why? Why don't you have optimism? other than the fact that for many of you this has gone on for so long, you have understanding. But you see how this bird is like in this prison, but the bird's not in the prison anymore. See how there's this hole? See also how the prison's actually fading away because of all this help that the bird has? The bird is being freed from prison by God's grace. You see all this light? You see it's all being cleared away? God's grace is freeing this bird. God's grace is freeing you. Additionally, you think you're out alone, you have a lot of help. You have a lot of divine help. Again, that angel, she's pulling you along. Like it or not, she's going to pull you along. So you might as well enjoy the ride. Know that it's going to work out positively. Hold on with one hand and throw your other hand up in the air like you're riding a roller coaster. Woo! Enjoy the ride. Because it's how you handle this ride coming in at the final end is going to, for some of you, it's not going to impact the outcome. The outcome is going to turn out how it is. It is going to be positive. It is going to be in your favor. But the way you handle it is going to determine whether or not you've got a couple little more rocks to get around. Are you going to have some more little issues that you have to deal with? Or are you just going to, woo, hold on and enjoy that ride and not have any more little rocks to deal with? If you can just hold on and enjoy the ride, they're going to bring you in. They're going to end this for you. And for many of you, you also have other help. You just don't know it. So maybe this is something within your company, or maybe you're splitting up with a business partner and you don't realize it, but there are other people that are trying to help you. You just don't know it. So you're in the dark. You feel like you don't understand what in the world is happening. But it's okay. You don't need to understand. You just need to look up, have faith, trust that God's got you, Jesus got you, the angels have got you. They're preparing to free you. All you need to do, see this bird starting to spread its wings? It's getting ready to fly. You just need to start preparing to fly. Start flapping those wings. Get ready because you're almost there. And by the end of May, you will be able to spread your wings and you will fly free of the situation and it will finally be over. And this has felt for many of you like a prison because many of you have known you can't move forward in life until this thing is done. But you're about to be pardoned. You're about to be set free. Now, what your divine masculine wants you to know, you have the Prince of Cups. And this is all about grace and inspiration and pleasure. It's grace and talent. It's making our dreams a reality. You know, he is very in touch with his emotions. He is open to love. He is ready to offer his love. He's offering his cup. But it's reversed. Your twin, he's not open to love at this point. He's not allowing it in at this point. He's not ready to offer his cup of love yet. For some, he hasn't done that because he's afraid to have that conversation because he has overindulged in fantasies and illusions and other things that were hollow and meaningless. And now he sees that the meaning would be with you. He wants that with you. He wants to offer his cup, but he doesn't know how to do that because he's fearful of how the conversation will go. You see in this, like, he's looking off, stone cold face, and she's all leaning in, give me a kiss, you know you want to kiss me. He's fearful he is not going to have a warm, open welcome, embrace. He's afraid that conversation is not going to go so well because of how things ended. He wants to have those conversations. He wants to open up. He wants to share with you. What you can do to help with that, you have calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. Now, keep in mind, that is not meaning for you to go and start obsessing. Now, thankfully, those of you that this message is for, that are about to have union imminent, when this is done, you're beyond that point of obsessing. You've actually gone to the other point that you're like, whatever. I'm so busy with these other things. But not obsessing. Set your intentions. I want this. But it's not even so much about setting your intentions of what you want. Okay. It's clearing the energy of what's transpired between the two of you. We don't need these anymore. Okay. It's about clearing the energies of what has transpired in the past between the two of you. So, for some of you, deep down, there are some deep blocks that are blocking him coming in. So for you to free the path for him to move forward, it does require you doing just a little bit of work. But it's not much work. It's a tiny little bit of work. And they are applauding you because you have done a lot of work. And that's why it's not really going to take much for this last piece. But, okay. So they want you guys to have an example. Because I'm seeing some of you like, oh my gosh, Nicole, I've done so much work. I'm tired of working. Okay. So for some of you, there is some deep-seated distrust of men. Okay. So for some of you, maybe you grew up and your father was not faithful, or maybe your mother wasn't faithful, or maybe neither of them were faithful. Maybe both were cheating all the time. And then you finally meet this love of a lifetime and he leaves you for someone else. And it's the deepest wound of your entire life. And even though you've done a lot of work to get past it, there's still this deep wound and deep-seated belief that men can't be trusted. And for some of you, if you look back at your relationships that you've had in your lifetime, you've always had these guys come in who can't be trusted. They're slimy as the day is long. They're cheating all the time. But we will attract what we believe. We will attract where we're at. So look at how, as you have ascended, you have grown, you've stepped into your awesomeness and your magnificence. Some of your friends have fallen away because you're no longer attracting. That's no longer, okay, you don't want to hang out at bars and go clubbing anymore. You're not at that anymore. You want to have relationships where, okay, you can sit on the patio and maybe drink some wine and just enjoy conversation, something with a little more depth. So you're going to attract those type of friends. It happens the same with lovers. You will attract where you are. And that's why a number of times as I've been encouraging Divine Feminine, let the masculine go, let go of the control, because you're not loving yourself enough to just stand there and know that, okay, I need somebody that's going to love me. Because when you truly love you, that's what you'll pull in, and you want to pull him in, truly loving you. We attract what we are. We attract what we think. So, for some of you, they're saying if you go back and you look at your life, you will find that your relationships, you've attracted these guys who weren't faithful. Then you attract your twin. And then for some of you, he did leave to go be with someone else. There's still that deep-seated not trusting men. You've done a lot of work. You really have. But you have to clear that history. You have to relieve that not trusting. And not trusting him, just not trusting men in general. But it's not that hard. So some of you need to do a forgiveness letter. That could be to your twin. That could be, if you haven't done it with all lovers in the past, you need to do it with all lovers. And if you haven't done it yet with your parents, you need to do that, because they're saying for a majority of you, this not trusting is because you saw infidelity, you saw your parents cheating when you were young. So you need to write a forgiveness letter to your parents as to how that made you feel, how the relationships with other people made you feel, because that has impacted your love life and your relationship since, and that's impacting your relationship with him. That is blocking him from coming in. Because this is so much deeper than, oh gosh, I'm afraid to go in and apologize to her. He energetically feels you won't allow him in. He's ready. He's now ready. But you're not ready yet. And I know there's some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, Nicole, I'm ready. He's not ready. Although it's a small number, that's good. They're saying it's a small number of you because most of you have risen above that. So to explain the dynamics of, for that small number of you, so a few months ago, I was waking up in the morning and I, like you, have done a ton of healing work. I even had a friend who does Akashic record reading. She had done one of mine and thinks of me doing some energy work for her. And she came back, she's like, girl, whatever you're doing with healing, it works. I have never, ever had anyone that didn't need to do any healing. She's like, you were the first person ever that there's zero healing that you have to do. None. Nothing. So I get it when you've done a lot of healing work. But here I am. But we're always going to have little things come up. And there are some things that will not come up until the timing is right. So you have to remember, this dynamic, this is divinely timed. Things have to happen at a certain point. God's not going to allow it to happen until then. Jesus is not going to allow it. The angels are not going to allow it until the time is right. And when the time is right, it'll happen. When the time is right, you'll release what you need to release. So a few months ago, I'm starting to wake up and I'm in that lucid dreaming point, and all of a sudden Jesus comes in. And he was asking me to give it to him so he can finally take it for good. And I'm like, finally take what for good? And he started showing me my mistrust of men. And I, like many of you, have not trusted men because of how I grew up with parents, because of how my past relationships have been. And despite all the work, there was still that deep, that like root. Like he had to go deep and grab that root. But I said, okay, Jesus, I'll give that to you. And I started giving him all this stuff. And then he took it away. He whisked it away. And it's the first time that my soul finally felt like it was gone. And I really, I was having tears. My eyes were leaking as I'm waking up. And because when we release stuff, there's going to be tears. But that's good because it means we released it. But I finally, for the first time in my life, actually felt like I really can trust men. I can trust men. They're not going to lie. They're not going to cheat. And it was that simple. But then it was even more magical because as I'm still sitting in that meditative, lucid dreaming state, I walk in, Jesus tells me, well, go on. He's waiting for you. And I'm like, he's waiting for me. Who are you talking to? And so what are you talking about? So I open this door and walk into this room and there's my twin. And he's waking up and he's sleeping, laying in bed. And he rolls over and he looks at me and he's like, oh, you're finally ready. And me in shock, I'm like, yeah, I am finally ready. He's like, baby, I'm so glad you're finally ready. Come lay down. And then he spooned me because he's like this big 6'3" guy. And it was great. But I had not released that core deep wound yet. And we both have core wounds. Like our twins has a big core that he needs to have released. Just like I was telling the guys, it's not that difficult for them. They need a little help. They might need to ask Jesus and the angels to help. Not that difficult for them to release. It's not going to be that difficult for you. And that was it. Then I wake up and I was feeling amazing. But that was a little time. It wasn't a little time. It was a little piece, but it was perfectly timed. It was not time until then. There's a large number of you that there's a little something that has to be released. And you know what it is. For many of you, it's not trusting. And some of you can also do things by affirmation. So maybe after you have your little core thing, and it's really going to be easy. It can be letters, release letters, praying, asking God and angels to come and help you. Because again, angels are not going to help you unless you ask. But just ask, and they will take care of it for you. And your divine masculine wants you to do that. Because again, these are what he wants you to know. He wants you to know, baby, I want to offer my cup to you. I am sorry for the things that I've done in the past. I want to do that. I want to share with you how I feel. I want to go from being this closed-lipped, fearful fella to fully opening up to your love, opening up to this connection. I want to have that conversation. But in order for me to have that conversation, you need to open up to receiving me. See how she's got this angel behind her, supporting her, helping her so she can open up to her love, to her other half, to her soulmate. You need to open up to receive him. The way you will open up to receive him is to do these final little releases, these final little tweaks that you need to let go of. And it's going to be very easy. Because they are same. For most of you, it's letters, it's meditations to release the old. Because essentially you're closing, so essentially if you look at it, it's like this chapter you have had with him. It's been filled with a lot of pain, disappointment, heartache. Every time you think you guys come back into connection, you're like, oh, it's going to work this time, and then it doesn't. Oh, it's going to work this time, it doesn't. It's going to work this time, it doesn't. So deep down, it's kind of like you're like, well, I want it. I really do. But there's this deep core wound in you now that makes you think, okay, well, what if it turns out the same way? What if we go down the same path? What if this were, what if I really can't trust him? What if he really is like every other guy? It's closing that chapter of those feelings with him, that letting go of that chapter with him so you can open the new chapter with him. You can't bring this old chapter with him into your new chapter. Your new chapter is going to be beautiful, but you don't want this old gunk coming in. You need to let that go. Let that stuff go. Now, that's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, triggers. So this card, you see all these little bubbles? So these bubbles are representing wounds, memories that you have stored, which are triggers for you. And these emotional wounds and stuff, you're just carrying them around with you. And they're just filling your mind and filling your heart because of things that have happened that have hurt you, that have broke your heart, that have caused you sadness, sorrow, despair. But in order to move forward, we have to accept those past traumas. We have to heal them. We have to release them. We have to let go of the sadness and the depression and the heartache. We have to flip that switch. We have to turn that page. We have to close that chapter to move to a new chapter. But once we've released the past hurts and pains with those experiences, they're no longer triggers and they're no longer bubbles. The bubble will just pop. It's no longer going to be in your way. It will disappear. So essentially, if you look at it, you're coming from this cloudy little spot over here. You're trying to get over here to the sun. You got all these memories and things with him. And with others, it can be stuff that stems from when you were younger. You just need to release. You need to pop these final triggers, these final bubbles. You just need to get them out of your way. And it's really not going to be that hard. Winter, cold holiday celebrations end. Again, you're ending a chapter with him. You are ending the way that things were. Winter, this is all about the ending of a year, the ending of a cycle. What do we do when we hit the new year? We have New Year's resolutions. We resolve that we are going to do things differently. That is what you ladies need to do. You need to end the previous cycle with him. You need to release that final core wound. Most of you already know what the final core wound is. If you don't, pray, meditate, ask that they help you, and you will very quickly know what it is. But that has to be released because your heart is feeling cold to him. Even though you want it, even though you love him deeply and you really want it. Because many of you are worried, what if it turns out this way? Essentially, they're saying you need to reignite that passion. Because of how things have transpired, your heart is kind of cold. You have to reignite that passion. The way to reignite that passion is to release the things that have transpired in the past, to let that go, close that chapter, end that chapter, so that you can have new beginnings. You can move forward into this new chapter, this new life together, doing things differently, knowing that he's a new person. You're a new person, he's a new person. But ladies, you are the one that's going to open that gate for him to come in. You are the one that has to, and again, it's not going to be that difficult, because these messages are for those of you that your union is imminent as soon as this stuff's wrapped up. So while you're waiting, you're just holding on and enjoying that ride, take care of these last few steps that you need to do. So that way, because again, this is all divinely timed for you, that way when this ends, then you're able to move forward with him. And the other thing that you need to do is focus on your mission. You have purpose. I know what I am here to do. You're twin flames. You have a big purpose. Just like him, you're here to help humanity in various ways. Some of you may be getting into spiritual work. Others of you, it's just you're making a difference in the workplace where you are and spreading love where you are. It doesn't have to be some big, I'm starting this, spiritual yoga practice. I mean, for a number of you, there's spiritual work that you're starting to do. But for others of you, that may not be it. You're here to spread God's unconditional love in whatever way that may be. But what they need you to do this next month is to focus on God. Focus on your mission. God has brought you here for a very special purpose. When you are focusing on God and focusing on what you are here to do, and you're not worrying about the what and the when and the where, when's this going to wrap up, how's that, when's this going to come together, don't worry about that. Be in the moment and just focus on God. Focus on your mission. Focus on your purpose. Focus on spreading that love. You've got all this love to boost people and to help people and encourage people and to assist them with their own trials and tribulations. Do that. Do that. And all this will take care of itself. And the last, lean on God and the angels for support. And at the bottom it says, Dear God and angels, I give you this, briefly describe the situation. Now and completely, I step out of the way and allow divine miracles to shine through everyone and everything involved. Remember, the angels cannot step in and help you if you don't ask for their help. They're the help that's going to free you from this. They're the help that's going to help you move forward. They're the help that's going to help with these final little tweaks that you need to do. You have to ask for their help. Because again, you have free will. They are not going to impose and infringe upon your free will unless you're in a situation where that's life or death and it's not your time to cross over yet. They will step in and stop you from having a fatal car accident if it's not time. But other than that, they're not going to step in. You have to ask for help. You have an entire team that is standing by to help you. Ask them and let them help you because you're so close. So I hope that helps all of you. Precipitous. Okay, so final message for both of you. They're saying you are at this precipitous point. So you have been climbing this mountain. You've been huffing. You've been puffing. You're worn out. You're breathing heavy. You don't think you can make it. You think you're going to keel over. You're just like, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. This freaking mountain is so difficult. You're at that point. You're just a couple steps from the very top of the mountain. And you're going to start sliding downhill, sliding down into better times. Not sliding down in a negative way. You've been climbing this mountain for a very, very long time. And now things are going to start to get better. And they're showing me like sledding, like, when you sled and you're just, when you were a kid and you'd go out and you'd go sledding and it's just joyful. Or if you go tubing and it's just joyful and you just kind of like with riding this roller coaster, you just throw your arms up in the air because you're having a good time and you're just enjoying life. You're enjoying the ride. It's blissful again. It's not a laborious struggle climbing up the hill. It's a joy riding down it. Life's good. You are almost at that peak. Both sides of the house. You are within days. For most of you, within the next month. Oh, guys, they're saying that you are imminent within this next week or so. You're going to have this aha and this ability to face your sorrow, to shift that. But you are within the next month, no more than the end of May, you're going to reach the peak of this mountain. Your struggles will be over within the month, no more than the end of month. And then suddenly, that is when your life totally changes. Many of you are coming into union at that point, or immediately after that point. But that's when things get easy. That's when things become joyful. You've had nothing but struggles for many of you 4 to 6 years. Yeah, 4 to 6 years. A lot of struggles, a lot of difficulty. That crap's almost behind you. You're about to be this lotus flower that's coming up out of those muddy, murky waters. You are so close. Do not give up. Because within the next month, majority of you, you're going to rise up out of this muddy water. You're going to hit the peak of that mountain. You're going to come together and the two of you are going to go sliding down that mountain, screaming with joy and happiness while you head into the next chapter of your life that is not going to be a struggle any longer. So I wish you all the best in doing your final little things that you need to work on. And I wish you a lot of love, joy, and blessings.